Are you currently concerned, or at least a little birdie, in the back of your head, telling you that either maybe we just topped at 69K again, or that your boy, what's his, is it Carl, or is it who talks about the extended cycles all the time?
That's Benjamin Cowan.
Benjamin Cowan, or are you thinking Benjamin Cowan might be more on the right track? What's kind of your thought there?
Well, people have to understand how many things have to go into play to get this market to go where it's got to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not as simple as, people buy Bitcoin, it goes up. I mean, at the heart of it, yes, fundamentally, that's what happens. But to be able to, when the market cap is over $1 trillion, to be able to get Bitcoin to move all the way to 100K, which would put, the market cap somewhere around, I guess, $2 trillion, just the individual Bitcoin market cap. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot, especially when, overall the entire crypto market is barely, is just a shade. Well, it's 2.6 trillion today. So
Right.
the Bitcoin market cap has got to blow up to 80% of the entire crypto market today. And we're talking about a pretty short period of time.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that have to happen to get that money flow coming into Bitcoin. And especially in a time when, look, let's be honest about the retail sentiment. The retail attention is other places. It is not in Bitcoin. And I've been wondering if that is having an effect on things. The retail attention right now is on NFTs, metaverse, gaming tokens.
Yeah.
And you know this from being on TikTok. On TikTok, that's the rage. That's what people are talking about. We're going to start talking more about metaverse ourselves, or myself on TikTok, because this is where the attention is going. And so, Bitcoin just seems a little boring to the newer generation. They're growing up with digital currency already, and they see things that are more exciting. And I think that is playing a factor. However, I still do believe that by the end of this year, we do top out. Now, with each passing day, I get less and less confident in that.
Right.
But there's a lot of factors into play to get enough people, the retail sentiment and also the institutional money, to flow in at the same time to push the price up. So I still do not believe in a lengthening cycle. Now, we'll define lengthening cycle. This is where Benjamin Cowan is the leader of this theory, and it's basically where he says that each cycle is getting longer and longer. I mean, that's obvious in the term,
right?
But that doesn't mean January or February. I mean, that means late quarter two. He believes over the summer is when this thing will top out. So if we do get extended a month or two, that's not necessarily lining up with the theory. It would have to be extended, basically like 6 months longer than we think it should go in order to really nail that down. And my basis for not buying into this is simply based on the fact that how can you have a lengthening cycle when the fundamental reason for the price of Bitcoin going up, which is the halving cycle and the cut in production, it doesn't change. It doesn't change dates.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what the price point is or the adoption level. The halving overvalues Bitcoin in the short term. And that's why you end up getting these massive bull cycles and these massive bear markets.
Right.
So I see virtually no way that we're, not in a bear market next year. When exactly that starts, I mean, I don't know. I would have told you a couple months ago, I would have bet every Bitcoin I had on the fact I would have thought it would have been by the end of this year. But now with each passing day, he may end up being right. Maybe he'll be right. And you know what I'll do? I'll come on and I'll say he was right. 100%. Yeah, I mean, obviously I know what I predicted and what I've said, what I've been told. And a lot of my predictions comes, if you look at a lot of my predictions today, they're different from things that I said earlier in the year. That's because we do have somebody who I talked to a pretty good bit, Mr. X, we call him. And this is a very high level, very powerful person. And, it's where a lot of my information comes from these days. And a lot of that information, it's very well thought out. And it's like, why would you just believe somebody that, approaches you and says all this stuff? Well, when you see the nuanced, language that's used, is different than anybody you've ever talked to, for sure. Right. And so, he says by the end of this year, and, if it goes an extra month, it is what it is. Like I said, he keeps alluding to the fact that this is harder to pull off than people think. There's a lot of moving parts. You got the government regulation side of things that have to be in a line. You have to have the retail institutional money that has to be aligned. You have to have no gigantic disasters, like no black swan events occur in the middle of it. So there's kind of a lot to hold together.